My name's Skylar Gray with LHS Newsmag. Today we're going to be interviewing some teachers and eyewitnesses of the August 7th storm that came through Loudon County. Now that storm was a pretty big storm as it did rip some of the roof off, and some teachers had to come in the next day and help with reparations as the students got the day off. Now our first interview is going to be with Izzie Watson, who is interviewing Mr. Brown. Off to you, Izzie.
Mr. Brown, what did you see on the storm on August 7th?
Well, I was in here. I didn't see a whole lot, but I did hear when the wind started really picking up, the louvers in the exhaust, they sounded like they was about to rip out. And I looked at the plumber that was in here working, and I literally said that's never happened before. So I took off there to the front doors, and that's when I seen the roof had blown off and was literally in the parking lot, and was not a good sight to see.
And did you help with any of the cleanup the next day?
Yeah, we got out there next day, got out on the equipment, and me, Lance, and Billy, we was operating the skid steer and the big fork truck and putting up the debris into the dumpsters, and got to bust up the building of the old ticket booth there and help the inmates get that all put away and out of the way, and made a place look a whole lot better.
Welcome back to the LHS News Mag, and I'm with the principal, Mr. Mack. So, Mr. Mack, so Monday, as you know, we got off school early, largely to your decision. What was that decision like? Was it an easy one, or did like the higher ups above you tell you to do that, or what happened there?
Okay, so around, I would say 11 o'clock, 10:30, I looked at the weather, and at that point it looked like at our dismissal time, from about 3 o'clock until 4:30, we were supposed to have storms, and I'm talking about heavy storms. Didn't quite turn out that way. It came a little bit early, but nonetheless, I called Mr. Guerin, who is our director of schools, and they were thinking about it at that point. It's not my decision, but so at about 12:10-ish, around that time, they called and said that we were going to dismiss at 1 o'clock. So that's the way it works. I don't get to decide that, but sometimes if I've got an idea, I'll call and see if that's what they like to do.
Oh, as we all know, we got off school early. How did you react to getting off school on Monday at like 1?
You know, honestly, I thought it was the greatest thing because I don't even have to be here till 11, so I only had 30 minutes worth of class today, or Monday.
What class did you have?
I had algebra, honors algebra.
Makes sense. So you drive, correct?
I sure do.
So what was it like driving in the monsoon that was Loudon High School?
You know, luckily we had gone out when there was a good window, so it wasn't too bad until I got to Von Noor. They had started getting a little rough. But other than that, made it home safe, and that's what matters.
Well, Chloe, so as you know, Monday we got off school early around 1. What was your reaction to that?
Well, my first reaction was I found out schools around us got out, but at the time I was in lunch, and I looked outside the windows and doors, and it looked bright as day and clear as day. So I didn't really see the necessity of it, but I'm thankful we did.
What did you do on your Tuesday? Did you rob a bank, or did you be like a productive member of society, or what'd you do?
Yeah, so I actually didn't have power on Tuesday either. So I didn't stay at home. I took my dog and we went out just to try to get some cool air. It was hot outside. It was hot in our house. No AC, no power. So we went for some walks, went for a hike. We had a play date with my brother's dog. We just kind of hung out and said,
So just had a dog party, basically?
Yeah.
No, Wyatt, as much as I like to think I'm really important here at LHS, I'm not that high up. In fact, we got the notification. Ms. Hicks and I were eating lunch, and I saw the notification on my phone, and I texted Mr. Breakbill and asked him if we were being punked, because that was certainly unexpected.
What was your job as a teacher when it comes to the dismissal students? Because on the student side, it was a little hectic, everyone flying around, figuring out what to do. So what was your job?
It was kind of like that for me. At 12:48, when they said we're going to go ahead and dismiss car riders, everyone but one student in my class got up and left. So I had one bus rider who just sat with me, and we kind of talked a little bit just about summer and class until her bus was called, and that was it. So it was like they were there, and then they were all gone to go get in their cars.
So we're out here with Miss Rob, and we're going to interview her about a few things. So Miss Rob, what did you see when you were here? We know you were an eyewitness, so what did you see in the storm? What did it look like?
Well, I was standing at the bottom windows at the doors at the stairs, waiting with a couple people waiting on a bus, and we heard a really loud burst of wind, and all of a sudden we look and there was just pieces of the roof just falling off. And so we ran into the bathrooms there, got the kids kind of hunkered down until it passed.
Now, was that scary at all?
Yeah, I don't like storms to begin with. They scare me anyway.
Me either.
So I was scared to death.
Okay. Here and helped a little bit, you and a few other teachers. So how did that go? How'd that kind of go out?
Well, we just came out the next day and picked up the pieces of the roof that were laying in the parking lot so that you guys would have somewhere to park when you came to school the next day, because there were pieces everywhere. But basically, we filled up dumpsters with the roofing and tore down the old ticket booth.
All right, we are here with Lance. Lance, what did you see during the storm?
I saw a lot of wind. I saw a lot of debris. I saw a lot of chaos.
A lot of chaos. Elaborate.
There were goats flying out of the barn. I saw a pig fly by once. Me and Miss Rob were downstairs. I told her, you better grab your pigs, grab your goats. The tornado's taking everything.
Yeah, well, that's pretty accurate, I could say. Now, did you help with any of the reparations or anything like that?
I was out there watching a lot of people work. I didn't really volunteer to do a whole lot because I'm not much of that type of person. But I did see a lot of people volunteering and doing a lot of work.
So we heard you were here as an eyewitness for the storm that ruined our roof. What do you have to say about that?
It was pretty interesting, yes.
Yeah?
Could have been worse.
What all did you see?
I just seen the aftermath of it. I did not see the actual event. I just seen the aftermath.
And did you help with the cleanup?
Yes, I did.
How was that?
It was exciting. I mean, it was just, we got to run heavy equipment and do a little cleanup.
Oh yeah, well that sounds great. We're glad you got it all cleaned up.
Oh yes, now we're back at school and you're happy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, thrilled.
How you guys doing today? Here we're with
Wally Breakbill.
And he's going to give us a little rundown on how the storm kind of overtook our school a little bit. So if you can talk about that, that would be great.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Thanks for having us on here. It was great effort, great work by the Loudon County Schools, get the students out, get them safe. So I returned back to my post in the office working away, and then this, pretty good sizable storm, wind, rain started coming. So I did what any man would do when a storm comes. I called my mommy, and I was on the phone with her, and I said, we were talking, and I said, yeah, that wind's really kicking up out there. And at that time, Mr. McIntosh comes around the corner, he goes, I think there's a tornado out there. And as soon as he said that, his phone starts ringing, and Miss Winstead said, I'm taking students down into the bathroom. We're taking cover. And Mr. Mack said, well, what for? And she said, because the roof's blowing off the building. So we took off running off into the back, and sure enough, back there in the back parking lot, there's just debris everywhere. And so we started to get the efforts underway and got it all cleaned up. And then the next day, many people came out to help. A lot of the trustees from the Loudon County Sheriff's Office came down, staff, faculty, Chick-fil-A, got this place cleaned up, and now we're back and ready to go.
We're all safe, and the roof is right now in the process of getting fixed, and we're mostly back to school. Mostly. Thankfully, once again, we're all safe and sound, and no one was really hurt. And that's it. This is LHS News Mag.
Now, whenever the August 7th storm came through, it did rip some of the roof off.